Guys, welcome back to Binsville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a Brother Voodoo Garage kit that I just finished painting up. Now, I did do a review on this a while back. I'll link it in the description if you want to go back and see it. This is a 3D print. I'm not sure if this is 3D print, this item is like made to order, or if you could get the 3D print, or maybe it's been printed and they are making copies. I'm not really sure. The person I'm doing for, if they want to, they could kind of contact me and I could put a, post up, pin a post or something on this video. I forgot, but I will link the review in the description so you guys go back and see it. It's a pretty straightforward kit, really well done. It's got that Bowen Designs feel. It's definitely in Bowen Designs scale, and it's definitely something like to fill in like a collection if you're working on Bowen characters and you really want to get some other teams and stuff made up. Now, I don't know much of the character. From my guess, I think he's more of Doctor Strange Avengers character. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I never really read those comics growing up, so I don't know much about him. But it's definitely working on it. It gives me that like old school Bowen Designs collection feel. It's funny too, because I was talking to a friend of mine. I feel that these statues are so small now, but when I started collecting statues and busts of Bowen Designs, I had that vibe that these are the biggest things in the world. They're humongous. They're, the full-size statues are huge, and then once 1/4 scale stuff started coming out, you started to realize that, oh wait, this stuff is actually small. So it's kind of weird working on this stuff, but I do like working on it. Now, I didn't have many issues with it. The only major issue I had was probably the cape, but that really wasn't a major issue. The other issue was his sash on the side. As you can see over here, the sash. It didn't come with the kit, so I don't know if it was lost, if it was forgotten. I went through the packing material and I couldn't find it, so I told the client I'm working for, he's like, well, just go ahead and sculpt the sash. I just went ahead and did my own little thing on the side, so this is a little bit different from everybody else's who maybe get this kit or works on it, just because we just didn't have a sash that came with it. Trust me, I looked in all the bubble wrap, I looked everywhere, so maybe it was forgotten, or maybe it just wasn't packed. I'm not really sure. He is a 3D print. So being a 3D print with texture, so you can see these legs, how there's this texture on the legs and the cape. That's the only downside when you do that stuff with 3D printing, because if you get those supports and you support it all over that texture and you break those supports off, it's very hard to capture that texture again. So that's the only downside when you do the texture on a lot of stuff. When the supports were on his arms and like the back muscles and stuff, that was easier to sand down, and you can kind of get away with it with cleaning that up. So I did the best I could with all that stuff, so it worked out pretty well. Now, we did let the head is removable on this one. So as you can see, this is magnetized, and then the cape comes off. The only downside with it, though, is if you're not careful, you can scrape the neck. So I might have to go back in and sand the neck down a little bit more and touch up the neck, just so when I send it off to the client, because he wanted to keep it removable, which I don't blame him. Because if you attach this and everything, it would look fine, but if you ever end up breaking the cape or something chips off, it would be a nightmare to try to repair because it's got all this texture on there. But that's kind of what we did with that. As far as his left hand with the staff, it's a very weird design. I kind of wish that the arm was, like I said in my review, I kind of wish that it was cut, the staff was cut here and the staff was cut there or something, and the arm was attached to the body. Because they cut it off at the wrist, there's a seam line there. But I asked him, I said, do you want me to make this removable or do you want me to attach it? He says, just make it removable. So it was real difficult, but I set up a little rod here and I put a little magnet in there and I seamed it up the best I could where there isn't so much of a horrible seam, but not really, noticeable that much. So that's kind of what I did with that. There's no way of getting around it. There's always going to be a seam. So just what I had to do. Other than that, the base was hollow as well, and I filled up the base. I forgot what I filled up the base with. I think, I can't remember if it was, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the base was hollow. I dremeled a hole around the bottom of it, and I shoved a bunch of freeform air in there. Now, with freeform air, when you mix it with water, it sort of kind of wants to expand. So it worked out pretty well. So when I shoved the freeform in there and I turned it upside down, it sort of filled up and it wanted to kind of squeeze out like a marshmallow out of the bottom. And I chopped it up and sanded it, and I used some, I think it was Bondo and stuff, and I worked that out. So while it is very a light statue, it does have freeform air in him and throughout the body and stuff, so it worked out pretty well. He is removable from the base from this foot over here because the way these two pegs work, they didn't line up correctly. I'm not really sure why, so I figured it would be better to get this rod out of there, Dremel up, and get a rod up the leg as far as I could. I think I could only get it up to about this far because of the way the ankle and the way this worked up here. So but it's fine though because he's not really heavy because of the freeform air in him. So that worked out pretty well. So on to the paint. So what I did is I pretty much mixed up some colors here and there. I like to go with that mahogany color for him. I didn't want to go with like, I know some people like to throw greens in paint for African Americans and stuff like that. And what I want to do is go more with the mahogany look, which is more oranges and reds. And any of the darker areas is actually purple mixed in with those colors. So there's no black paint in there, and it's not really like a dark brown, it's purple. So that's kind of what I like to do when I mix up my colors. And then after that, it's pretty straightforward. Just basically painted this white. The green was a nightmare to paint after I did those black little triangles. The necklace was fairly easy. Kate was a little bit difficult because I might have to just touch up this area here because I kind of nicked it. But because it's yellow on the inside and then red on the outside, it's a really pain in the ass to kind of do it without having like a proper seam. So I just kind of think I just got to touch this up. I think what I did is when I moved it, I kind of hit a little bit of that red off, but I'll touch that up real quick. His face, being smaller and everything, worked out pretty well. So I did Archer Fine Transfer Detail eyes, and then the hair, once I painted up the skin and everything, I used a black wash on the hair, just some black paint, but I mixed a little bit of browns into it too. So a little bit of that skin tone is sort of showing through, so it's not just a pure black paint on the head. It's got a little bit of a transparent look. And then after that, I did a wash of the white on there, so I guess he's got this white streak in his hair. That was really hard to get that V, because for some odd reason I couldn't really find it after I painted him up. I don't know if it was kind of like maybe the 3D print or maybe the primer thickened it up a bit, but it was a little tricky. Did the green, I wanted to give him a little bit more darker colors. I didn't want to make it like bright green out of the bottle or bright reds out of the bottle. I wanted to make him a little bit more, sinister looking, I guess. Because I saw a lot of his colors from his old artwork, and I just felt like trying to make him like bright greens and bright reds would kind of and I kind of like this darker look too. Kind of feels a little bit more like you got that voodoo look, I guess. As far as his base, it's kind of like a V from his forehead on here. And I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I didn't want to just do like a bright base on him, because I think a bright base would take away or fight with the white on his chest and everything, because you want his eyes to go up to his mid-body. So I painted this black at first, and I thought it was just too dark. And I decided, you know what, let's do a little bit of like a granite type look. So let's pop out this V a little bit more and do the bottom part as well. So it's just a little bit different take on it, but I just thought it would look kind of cool. So I don't know, it's just something, I tried something a little bit different with that. I was going to do like maybe like a white marble type look, but like I said, having that V on his chest, I think having a white spot up here with a whiter base or a lighter base would fight too much. Where you want your eyes to kind of come up here more. You don't want to focus too much down here. So that's what I did with that. And then the staff has just got some like wood colors in there. It's got like some raw siennas in there. I did some dry brushing. Just kind of wanted to make it look like an old wooden stick and stuff. So that's kind of what I did with that. But that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. Really cool kit, cool character. I probably should get a chance is, like, I have a bunch of characters that I want to read up on. So usually what I like to do is when I work on a character like this, I like to read up on them a bit. So I wait till like when I have like a free night, I'll put all the lights on my Maju cases and my TV room, and I won't watch any YouTube or any movies. I'll just sit down and go on the internet and just kind of read up Marvel characters or DC characters I never really read, and just go into the Wikipedia and stuff and kind of just do a little bit of background. So he's on my list with a couple other characters I really want to sit down and do. So when we get closer to the holidays and I have some nights off, I'm going to just kind of do that with these types of characters. But there you go. That's Brother Voodoo. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.